Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 98. Our article tonight is from the Daily Beast, and it's about an MIT professor who has been put on paid leave, mind you, folks, over the Epstein donations. Now, we're going to jump right into this article tonight. I'm not going to do no long monologues or anything like that. We're just going to jump right in. So if you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. All right, this article is from the Daily Beast, and the headline is, MIT puts tenured professor on paid leave over Epstein's donations. The reporter is Pilar Melendez. The article was published on January 10th, 2020. A tenured MIT professor has been put on paid leave amid revelations that he purposely failed to disclose that Jeffrey Epstein was the source of 2 donations that supported his research and that he received a personal $60,000 gift from the convicted sex offender, the university said. Wow. Doesn't seem like you guys are close or anything, huh? $60,000 gift? Yeah, I get those all the time from people that I'm not very close to. Seth Lloyd, a mechanical engineering professor, was placed on leave Friday after a law firm hired by the university to investigate the school's ties with the late financier, pedophile, found that he'd secretly received $225,000 from Epstein over a 5-year period. A 5-year period, $225,000 Jeffrey Epstein gave this guy. Do you think Jeffrey Epstein did it just out of goodwill? Or what was Jeffrey Epstein getting out of it? Or better yet, what were his handlers getting out of it? Why would his handlers want scientists? Why would his handlers want dossiers on scientists, folks? Ask yourself that. The report on Goodwin Proctor's findings indicates that Epstein viewed his first donation to Lloyd in 2012 as a trial balloon to test MIT's willingness to accept donations following his 2008 sex crime conviction. All right, so this was in 2012, folks. 8 years after his conviction and 2 years after the Conchita article that we read. All right? The Conchita and Saroff article that we read from 2010, everybody knew what Jeffrey Epstein was. Everybody knew exactly what he was up to, and what he was capable of. And yet, they still took his money. Yet, they still went to his house to have dinner. Yet, they still would not stand up for these victims. Shame on all of these people. Shame on you, Professor Lloyd, and shame on MIT for even giving him paid leave. I don't care if he's tenured, all right? If you were enabling Jeffrey Epstein, the most prolific sex trafficker in modern history, then I don't care if you have tenure. I don't care if you're the Pope. You should be fired. Professor Lloyd knew that the donations from Epstein would be controversial and that MIT might reject them. The report concluded. We conclude that, in concert with Epstein, he purposefully decided not to alert the Institute to Epstein's criminal record, choosing instead to allow mid-level administrators to process the donations without any formal discussion or diligence concerning Epstein. What does that even mean? So the university it's no fault of the university's. It's not the prestigious MIT's fault. No. The fault lays squarely on Jeffrey Epstein and mid-level administrators. Again, the mid-level people. The people on the ground level, folks. The people that are always getting shit on by these folks, one way or the other. When things go south, they're the scapegoat. When things go good, they get no credit. And on and on and on the dance goes. Are you not tired of it yet? Are you not tired of watching these people systematically just literally abuse those that they deem are less worthy than they are? It could be your sister. It could be your mother. It could be your daughter. It could be your brother. It could be your friends. Right? They don't care about any of us. They don't give a good goddamn about any of us, folks. We're all just collateral. We're all just like cattle to them. Just cattle being led around to the slaughter. According to the 61-page report, investigators found that Lloyd failed to disclose two $50,000 donations from Epstein in 2012 and a $125,000 donation in 2017. So, 2012, then in 2017. And you had no idea what Epstein was up to, huh? The university had no idea, huh? I don't even care if you're a mid-level administrator. Somebody's donating this kind of money. You don't Google that person. You don't drop their name into DuckDuckGo. Come on, man. I'm not buying any of this stuff. All of this stuff, like even if James Patterson is saying that this whole entire thing seems like it's fiction and that it couldn't even be written in one of his books, this is all crazy. $125,000 donation, a $50,000 donation, professor at MIT. Why is Epstein donating to MIT? Oh, it's because he loves science so much. Yeah, right. What was he getting in return? What was he looking for in return? What was he getting access to? The renowned quantum physics professor also received a personal gift of $60,000 from Epstein in 2005 or 2006, which he acknowledged was deposited into a personal bank account and not reported to MIT, according to a press release about the findings. Why would Epstein just give this dude $60,000? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, folks, but it's a question that keeps ringing in my mind as I read this article. In August, MIT admitted to accepting $800,000 in donations from Epstein. Friday's report revealed the school received a total of $850,000 from Epstein, and that 3 current and former university officials knew about at least one 2013 donation to the MIT Media Lab, whose director resigned in September over the Epstein scandal. In total, Epstein made 10 donations to MIT between 2002 and 2017 and visited the school 9 times. 9 times, folks, okay? So it's a really good idea, right? To have this guy on campus with access to all of these college-age girls. That's a really brilliant idea. Epstein died by suicide, allegedly, in August in his Manhattan jail cell after being arrested on federal child sex trafficking charges. Since MIT had no policy or processes for handling controversial donors in place at the time, the decision to accept Epstein's post-conviction donations cannot be judged to be a policy violation, the report states. Oh my Lord. What is wrong with these people? These people are rotten from the very top, folks. It wasn't a policy violation, so that makes it cool. But it is clear that the decision was the result of collective and significant errors in judgment that resulted in serious damage to the MIT community. So basically, you can blame us, but don't blame us too much because, we didn't really know. There was no steps in place. So it wasn't really a policy violation to take money from this pedophile. You know what I mean? That's just how business is done, right, folks? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. In 2002, the report states Epstein gave his first donation of $100,000 to support the research of late professor Marvin Minsky, who died in 2016. The remaining 9 donations, which were all made after Epstein's conviction, were made to the Media Lab and Lloyd. As previously reported by the Daily Beast, Epstein and Lloyd also had a personal relationship, and the professor attended a 2007 gathering on his private island, Little St. James. Oh, isn't that cute? Isn't that cute, Mr. Lloyd? I wonder if your name's going to be in those documents. I really, really hope that on the 16th that the judge decides to open those documents up. Boy, what will be in those? In November, Lloyd even began his quantum computing class with a monologue about his relationship with Epstein, prompting students to demand his resignation. The report also found that while senior administrators R. Gregory Morgan, Jeffrey Newton, and Israel Ruiz had made significant mistakes of judgment in accepting donations from Epstein, the trio did not breach any university policy. The report added that MIT's senior leadership did not know about Epstein's 9 visits. Significant mistakes of judgment. The trio did not breach any university policy. Well, how about just the policies of basic human decency, okay? Accepting money from Jeffrey Epstein is not a good idea. I don't care what you're using the money for, okay? There are plenty of other donors that would have given them money. Plenty of people want to see MIT succeed, folks, all right? I'm sure they have a bevy of high-profile donors. They did not need this money from Jeffrey Epstein. They were greedy. In the absence of any MIT policy regarding controversial gifts, Epstein's subsequent gifts to the Institute were approved under an informal framework developed by the three administrators, the report states. In December, MIT announced that Ruiz would step down after his semester, stating the decision to leave a post he had since 2011 stemmed from his plans to focus on opportunities that accelerate innovation. Morgan and Newton have both retired from the university in the last 2 years. Oh, I'm sure that they decided to leave on their own, right? They weren't forced out or anything like that because MIT is trying to save face. Give me a break. It's so transparent. All you have to do is read in between the lines. The report also cleared MIT's president, of course it did, L. Raphael Rafe, of wrongdoing, saying that the president was unaware of donations by Epstein and that he had no role in garnering funds for the school's prestigious media lab. Well, he was the boss, right? So you're the boss and you don't know who's getting donations and where they're coming from? That's pretty good. You're doing a hell of a job there, boss guy. You're doing a hell of a job, and I bet you this dude's raking in big dough. He's bringing in big money, and he has no idea what's going on his campus. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. In a Friday letter addressed to the university, Rafe admitted that he found the report disturbing new information about Jeffrey Epstein's connections with individuals at MIT, how extensive those ties were, and how long they continued. This includes the decision by a lab director to bring this level 3 sex offender to campus repeatedly. You didn't know that beforehand? A guy like Jeffrey Epstein shows up on campus and there's no scuttlebutt. Nobody's talking in administration. Nobody's nudging and poking each other and saying, hey, dude, you know Jeffrey Epstein's on campus? What the hell, dude? Why do we have Jeffrey Epstein on campus? If I was part of the administration and I found out that Epstein was coming to the school, oh boy, you better believe I would have been in the dean's office, wherever this guy's office is, Rafe's office, going absolutely bananas about this guy being there. I don't even want to share air with people like Jeffrey Epstein, folks. Never mind be around him in a professional setting. Rafe, who previously acknowledged he signed a thank you letter to Epstein for a 2012 donation, but he didn't know anything, right, folks? He had no idea. Another guy. So he's blaming everybody else, and he's not going to take the fall. Those other four were the fall guys and the fall women or whatever. And this guy, well, he's just going to cruise on through. Cruise on through. Rafe, who previously acknowledged he signed a thank you letter to Epstein for a 2012 donation, added that MIT must fix what needs fixing and improve what needs improving. Oh boy, isn't he waxing poetic. Just a modern-day Socrates, isn't he? Give me a break. We must fix what needs fixing and improve what needs improving? Boy, aren't you a wordsmith? The school also plans to donate $850,000 to a charity that benefits survivors of sexual abuse. The elite technical university first came under fire last September from accepting donations from Epstein after a bombshell New Yorker expose. The report centered around MIT's Media Lab and its director, Joy Ito, who admitted and apologized for taking $525,000 from Epstein for the lab and $1.2 million for himself. He resigned less than a day after publication. Other media outlets later reported top university officials beyond the Media Lab approved Epstein's donations on the condition they would remain anonymous, an allegation confirmed in Friday's report. Folks, these scientists are just as sick as the rest of them. This whole entire situation, this whole entire sordid ordeal is absolutely, positively, mind-bogglingly disgusting. Okay? All of these people that were involved, this president, he needs to step down. He needs to go. And this is just the very beginning, folks. We haven't even been talking about Arizona State yet. We haven't talked about any of these other universities where there has been all sorts of craziness, where Jeffrey Epstein has had his stupid, disgusting tentacles intertwined with what was going on. But we're going to get to it. As usual, though, I only talk about what the articles are being written about, right? So I can't create subjects. So when they start writing articles about Arizona State, we'll dive into that. And the reason I do that, folks, is I use their own stuff as the source. That way no one can ever go back and say, "Oh, well, you guys are using crazy sources on here. Why you using XXXXX source?" Because we're not ever going to get caught up in that. We're going to use the mainstream sources, the sources that are considered mainstream, the sources that are, respectable sources that have been covering this case from the very beginning. And that's what we're going to keep on doing here on this podcast. Every single day, every single night. No breaks, ever. All right, folks, if you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. And if you would like to help support the podcast, you can do that by clicking on the GoFundMe link inside of the description box. We are almost halfway to our goal. Everybody who has donated so far, you folks are awesome. Thank you so much. And I'll tell you, it's because of your donations that we're able to make this trip to Santa Fe. And it's because of you folks that we're going to be able to make these trips coming up in the future. So thank you so much. And I hope that everybody has an amazing Friday. We will be back tomorrow and we'll do it all over again, folks. I'll talk to you then.